Let's do a quick lesson about page 13 and following on the first trigonometry pace, 1133. For any right triangle, I guess I should put a little X in here. I'll square in there to show that that's a right triangle. The longest side is always called the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse, all right? Then let's pretend like we are standing inside this corner. Right here. If this was a room that had three sides, three walls, we could reach out and touch the hypotenuse with our right hand. We could touch this side here, so we call that the adjacent side. So that's our touching with our left hand. So we have the hypotenuse, the adjacent, and then the side way across from us that we can't touch is the opposite side. So mathematicians, going way back, this is actually from before the time of Christ. When Jesus went to high school, he may have learned a lot of these things you're learning in trigonometry right now, actually. Okay? So this has been around a long time. There's a relationship, we call it sine, not sin, sine. And it's a fraction. It's the relationship or the ratio of the opposite side over the hypotenuse. Okay? Opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine would be taking the adjacent side. So if we had a number here like 3 and the hypotenuse was 4, then we would say it's 3/4. Or a lot of times with our calculator, it'll work out to be a decimal, 0.75. And then for tangent, it's opposite over the adjacent. Now it's really important that we hold on to these and memorize the relationship between these. And maybe you did that back in Algebra 1, Algebra 2, geometry, somewhere back there. In fact, it was even covered way back in, I think it was pace 87 or something, 1087. But I like to teach my students a little jingle. Some old horse caught another horse taking oats away. Do you remember that? Can you picture that? The old horse wanders into the barn, and there's another horse in there stealing the oats while all the other horses are out in the field. So the old gray mare goes running out of the barn, grabs the farmer, and pulls him by the ear and takes him into the barn to show him that some old horse caught another horse taking oats away. But now when you're trying to remember, what was cosine? Some old horse caught another. Oh, CAH. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay? So that'll help you with that. I will tell you one more thing as we move further into the pace. They're going to always refer to the hypotenuse as C, the opposite as A, and the adjacent as B. Okay, so the short side is A, the long side is B, the hypotenuse is C. Might not always be AB, it's in relation to the angle. Opposite is A, adjacent is B. So we could say this is side A over side C. This is side B over side C. And then tangent would be A over B. And in fact, if you look ahead, I know we're here on page 13, but I think it's after the checkup. Oh wow, quite a ways ahead. I thought it was closer to what we were doing here. Page 29. I guess on page 29 is where they start replacing it with, instead of opposite and adjacent, they use the letters A, B, C. So I'm just giving you a little sneak peek for page 29. You don't need to worry about it now. You'll get to it later, okay? But I want you to also notice that there is something that is we would say it's the sine. Oops. 1 over the sine of theta is the same as the cosecant. So the sine inverted, the reciprocal of it, okay, flip it over. So instead of being opposite over hypotenuse, the cosecant is hypotenuse over opposite. So the relationship is the same two sides, it's just that we flip it. So 1 over the sine means take this A over C, the O over H, flip it upside down. Same thing happens with cosine. Now you would think it would be easier if it was sine and secant, cosine, cosecant, tangent, cotangent. It's not. So it's a little bit confusing. Now this one makes sense, tangent, cotangent. So cotangent is 1 over the tangent, or taking this A and putting it over the O, adjacent over opposite. But secant is actually the reciprocal, the inverse of cosine. So if this is A over H, adjacent over hypotenuse, the secant is hypotenuse over adjacent. Now again, I'm telling you, you don't have to totally understand this, just you really have to memorize this, okay? So most of what you're going to be doing is applying this and plugging some numbers into your calculator, doing some solving. All right. I really think they do a pretty good job explaining it, and according to Tatiana, she was understanding it until she got up to page 38, and then she kind of hit a wall. So I'm going to stop here, and we're going to come back and make a video for page 37.